By then we were one of the biggest live acts in Sydney without a record deal.
Certainly we needed a record, that was for sure. You knew Roger, right?
I did. I worked for Roger Grierson and the Thought Criminals, and I thought he's a good guy to go and see about getting a record deal, because he just happened to own a record label.
Yeah, I remember doing the signing. It was at a pub on Oxford Street, and we signed our lives away.
Yes,
to Roger.
Sold to the devil.
To Roger and the rest of them. But yeah,
it was a good deal because we actually made a couple of records.
It certainly was.
Got to the top of the indie charts.
We did. I think Made a Monkey got to #1 within the first couple of weeks.
It did, and I bought 500 copies myself.
So did your mother, I seem to remember. Your mother used to have a habit of buying lots of records.
My mother's got a great record collection.
The first Allniters original was She Made a Monkey Out of Me. I think Hoodie wrote the bass line. I think Pete wrote the lyrics, I think. Anyway, it goes a little like this. And how's it go?
And there were some songs that the band already had, and I thought, okay, well, you know, like they did She Made a Monkey Out of Me, and I thought, this is a song? It's just, again, chaotic. It's just chaotic music that just sort of was played too fast, and it was just somehow, you know, but at the same time, the crowd liked it, so it was like a bit of an eye-opener for me.
Can't really recall the amount of time we spent on recording it, but certainly wasn't weeks, more like hours. But we had a great result with it. Went to #1 on the independent charts, and we were very happy chaps.
Yeah, no holes barred, just go for it. And it ended up being a fantastic single. It was real good fun.
Yeah, She Made a Monkey came out, and it was quite successful in the indie charts, went to #1. And then we all sort of didn't need our jobs anymore because we had to tour. So, and that was a job in itself, organising all these blokes. And Steve had come on board, so we had a brass section. I don't think there was brass on She Made a Monkey. But, so the band was growing, and we're all getting better. And I remember a memorable night at Arthur's, where it was just packed, the walls were just dripping with sweat. Jimmy Barnes was there and got up and did Israelites, and the enthusiasm in the room was terrific, and the floor was actually moving up and down. And people were starting to get a bit scared downstairs at what was going on. I think we had to stop in the end.
Because I had the label, we then did some recording. She Made a Monkey Out of Me, put that out, and one thing led to another, and I became the manager, which I did for several years. Several successful years. I used to manage them when they were famous.
Did you have a day job in those days?
I did have a day job. I had a few, actually. But I was starting to not turn up for work because we were having so many late nights.
Yes.
And so many gigs. And then Roger made the harebrained idea of travelling interstate. So I think that was the end of me and full-time work somehow.
The first thing that Grierson did was organise a tour for us to Brisbane, and off we went in this god-awful, 24-seat coaster with our stage gear in the back. Our first stop was Pymble, so we didn't get too far to buy another case of beer, and I think to buy a bottle of port or vodka for Marty and Hoodie. We hit the Pacific Highway. We drove, and we drove, and we drove, and eventually we all threw up. And it was just god-awful and horrible. The side of the bus had vomit one side to the other. I'm sure it was on the roof as well. By the time we pulled into Brisbane, Brisbane Central, staying at a luxurious apartment block called Vogue Apartments, the bus stank, we stank. I think half of Brisbane wanted us to leave. But that's how it started.
Ska music, S-K-A. It comes from the other side of the world. Ska music is a type of reggae music. It's the sort of music that really makes you want to get up and dance. And as the reggae people say, it's music for your feet, not for your head. Here's Jonathan Coleman interviewing a ska band called the Allniters.
It's 11:05 on a normal working day, and you're probably already snuggled in your office, but not for the All-Nighters. They've spent the night hard at work playing, and now they're resting. Kind of. All-Nighters television. Yes, and of course, after watching their favourite video on television, it's time for the All-Nighters to hit the daylight for their favourite morning workout. Talk about thrill seekers. Zest for living. They love it. Yes, they're raring to go. Okay, guys, tell me a little bit about the band. I mean, what are the All-Nighters all about?
The All-Nighters are all about fun. They're a modern dance band, basically.
It's music for your feet, not for your head. It's just to dance to. It's all fun. So the kind of music you play, I mean, if you can't, it's not really reggae, is it? It's like ska music.
Ska is a very commercial form of reggae music, yes.
It came before reggae. It's the faster sort of, more bouncier.
It's like, it's West Indian garage music, garage from the 50s.
Okay, thrill seekers, here we go. Now it's time to meet the All-Nighters face to face, live in your lounge room.
Hi, I'm Peter, and I'm the father of the band, and these are my children.
Hi, I'm Brett, and I replaced Jimmy Barnes in the All-Nighters.
Hello, I'm Stuart. That's Martin.
And we stayed out late.
Hi, my name's Hoodie. I'm pretty handy with an electric 4x2.
Hi, my name's Peter, and I'm pretty handy with the chopsticks. Hi, I'm Steve. I'm the shy one in the band.
My name is Philip, and I play a horn.
My name's Mark. I play the organ as much as possible.
Now, the All-Nighters tend to have a sort of a bizarre following of people that go to your gigs, right? One in particular are rude persons, rude boys and rude girls. What is a rude boy or a rude girl?
I'm glad you asked me that question.
I don't really know.
We are not sure.
Rude really basically means like...
Flash.
Rude.
Well-dressed.
It's sort of like...
Mild-mannered.
Right, me?
Mild-mannered.
Yeah, like
Moderately rude. Moderately rude. C rating rude.
Oh, yeah!
Early 82, the All-Nighters had taken on another dimension because they'd appeared on Simon Townsend's Wonderworld, which was the start of burgeoning mainstream acceptance. So we went looking for a record company that was going to be suitable to our needs. Conventional record industry was something that we wanted to avoid, so we went to a number of potential people and ended up with Powderworks, which was the label run by Uncle Ken Harding and his wife in North Narrabeen, and they'd put out a couple of Midnight Oil records. They were the people that, when we signed the contract, they said, we'll put the contract in the bottom drawer because we're never going to have to refer to it ever again, which we didn't. They were lovely people to deal with. It was a husband and wife record company with decent distribution, good PR people, and their own pressing plant, so that suited our purposes.
All right, now, you must hear what we're gonna play. Here we go!
My first recollection of the All-Nighters, it was, would have been 82, and a friend of mine dragged me along because he wanted me to check the band out at Sydney Uni, and I must say, it was explosive. That's how I felt seeing these guys on stage. Walking away, just being blown away. And my friend Pat brought me round the backstage, and all I can remember is hearing Martin's amplifier, thinking that's the loudest thing I've ever heard. And little did I know that was going to be my life for the next 5 years. Marty and his amp. It was like a jumbo jet taking off. After that, Pat left to mix a little-known band called the Swingers, and take them on their tour. They were just having a hit with Counting the Beat, and he suggested that I come in and do some front of house for the band and see how that went. And so I met the guys, and before I knew it, I was doing front of house for the All-Nighters. It was good.
To me, I say, what your daddy say? You shouldn't stay out late.
With the band growing and the different splinter groups that it was producing, I didn't like it that much, and I guess I was being pushed back towards my amp more often. There were so many people out the front, you couldn't look over shoulders, jump over shoulders. But I started going and looking at bands like the Hoodoo Gurus and the Lime Spiders and that sort of psychedelic-y hard rock thing, and I was quite enjoying that, and I was quite enjoying the rockabilly thing as well. Anyway, so I was sort of drifting out of ska and drifting towards that. So I didn't really want to play ska anymore, and so it was a hard decision to make because, you're all my mates and we had such a good time together. But I had to move on and do something else and have a bit more control over what was happening. And I know Marty was a bit upset. I think Pete tried to talk me out of it, but my mind was made up and I went on, drifted on. I actually auditioned for the Hoodoo Gurus, but I knew I wasn't going to get the gig, so I talked to Rod Radar, who was in the band, and I said, I've got this other idea. It's a bit kooky, but it's kind of like cowboy country and western. You play it like your punk rockers. And he went, what a great idea. He was still in the Gurus. We started jamming and writing songs, and then he gave up the Gurus and off went to Johnny's.
I remember Hoodie being a little bit sort of restless about wanting to leave the band, and he ended up forming the Johnnies, and so that left an opening for a bright young man to step in, and what better than somebody who knows all the songs. So I think on that fact alone I got in. My very first gigs were terrifying because our manager, God bless him, decided that probably my second show I should do a live to air on Triple J. And I don't remember being ever so nervous in my life as having to do a whole set straight live to air. It was incredible. Terrifying, but I think I got away with it. No one listens to the bass anyway.
So we recorded a single up at Brookvale, which was Hold On. A couple of things happened as a result of that. One was more of a Jonathan Coleman connection, because I think the guy who was the head of PR lived with Jonathan Coleman, so he was a card-carrying All-Nighters person. He had a red-hot live band that his best friend was on the B-side of, and in short shrift it became a top 20 hit in Sydney. Hold On got to somewhere around the top 40, maybe just inside, just outside nationally, and as a result of that we took stock and all sat down with the idea of making an album, because at that stage we thought we're ready for an album, had the songs, had the following, had the record company, and that was the next logical step.
Hold On happened pretty quickly, and it was one of those things that just comes together. You go into a studio with an idea and it either works or it doesn't, and Hold On just had something about it which just took hold of everyone, and it just became a bit of an anthem for the band, I think. Writing Hold On, I think it was a collaborative effort with Mark, Stuart and myself. And I think Mark came in with the chords and Stewie and I were just jamming around it. You know, I came up with the bass line. Really, if you look into it, it's a little bit Taxman. It's a little bit black African funk. It's a mix of all things, actually. You know, I'm pretty proud of it.
Right up until we signed a deal with Powderworks, we were self-funded with everything we did. We were touring the country with no hit records. The Star Trek tour in 1982, 60 gigs in about 7 weeks or something. 18 people on the road, touring around Australia. Couldn't be done. Impossible, we were told. We were doing it with no hit records, self-funded all the way. We did actually get some interest initially from RCA and EMI at Arthur's nightclub, but weren't interested. We wanted to keep it independent because we were scared that they'd want to change us.